of Congress made this following statement. During Jim Crow, the black family was together. Considering that statement, I would like to remind some and enlighten others about the Jim Crow era. Jim Crow laws were a collection of state and local statutes that legalized racial segregation. Named after a black show character, the laws, which existed for about 100 years from the post-Civil War era until 1968, were meant to marginalize African Americans by denying them the right to vote, hold jobs, and get any education or other opportunities. Here are a few of the Jim Crow laws. Number 1, it shall be unlawful to conduct a restaurant or other place for the serving of food in the city at all which white and colored people are served in the same room, unless such white and colored persons are separated by a solid partition extending from the floor upward to a distance of 7 feet or higher, and unless a separate entrance from the street is provided for each compartment. Number 2, it shall be unlawful for a Negro and a white person to play together or in company with each other in any game of cards, dice, dominoes, or checkers. Number 3, all marriages between white persons and Negroes or white persons and Mulligan's are prohibited and declared absolute void. No person having 1/8 part or more of Negro blood shall be permitted to marry any white person, nor shall any white person be permitted to marry any Negro or having 1/8 part of or more of Negro blood. This law was in Missouri. Number 4, any instructor who shall teach in any school, college, or institution where members of the white and colored race are received and enrolled as pupils for instruction shall be deemed guilty of a misdemeanor, and upon conviction therefore shall be fined in any sum not less than $10 nor more than $50 for each offense. This law was in Oklahoma. Number 5, every person operating any public hall, theater, opera house, motion picture show, or any place of public entertainment or public assemblage which is attended by both white and colored persons shall separate the white race and the colored race, and shall seat apart a designated certain seats therein to be occupied by white persons, and a portion therefore, or certain seats therein to be occupied by colored persons. Number 6, it shall be unlawful for any parent, relative, or other white person in this state having the control or custody of any white child by right of guardianship, natural or acquired, or otherwise, to depose of, give, or surrender such white child permanently into the custody, control, maintenance, or support of a Negro. This law was in South Carolina. Number 7, the County Board of Education shall provide schools of 2 kinds, those for white children and those for colored children. This law was in Texas. Number 8, some states in the South had laws that required citizens to pay a poll taxes or pass a literacy test before they could vote. I have 2 questions for you. Were African Americans better off during the Jim Crow era? Do we still have Jim Crow law? If your answer to each question is no, I would like you to rethink your answer to question 2. Authorities have eliminated the most egregious Jim Crow segregation laws, but you will still hear references to certain laws or practices as Jim Crow laws. Modern forms of Jim Crow laws include the following. Felony disenfranchisement. According to Michelle Alexander, author of The New Jim Crow, Mass Incarceration in the Age of Colored Blindness, Jim Crow-type laws are resulting in the incarceration of African Americans. While black people and white people are both commit crimes, black people are more likely to be found guilty and more likely to serve prison terms. According to statistics, nearly 30% of the male African American population has a felony record. Since felony conviction is an automatic disenfranchisement in most states, Michelle Alexander sees this as a form of Jim Crow law. Racial gerrymandering. Racial gerrymandering refers to defining voting districts to lessen or eliminate a minority's voting power. For example, Republican or Democratic political authorities may divide a large community of black voters into several districts, each with many white voters. This practice leaves too few black voters in any one district to elect a preferred candidate. This was common practice in some states. Voter suppression. Many voters have instated laws to suppress the votes of black and brown people. For example, Florida Senate Bill 90. Broad restrictions on mail voting. Georgia SB 202, a ban of food and water, plus subtle attacks on mail voting and local election officials. Montana, HB 176, eliminated election day registration, a popular and effective policy that Montana voters have relied on for years. During debate over law, a Republican state representative openly stated that he wanted to end election day registration because he believed it was used by young people who were not on our side of the aisle. Florida's public schools will now teach students that some black people benefited from slavery because it taught them useful skills. The two most important things we can do to ensure that more rights are not taken from us is stay informed and engaged. Informed citizens are democracy's best defense. Vote. Your vote can impact the future.